If you're just starting to learn Arabic like me, I hope this video will give you a little boost of confidence because you might know more Arabic than you realize. This video will be the first in a series of videos of English words that have been adopted by Arabic or words that English took from Arabic or just whatever words that are generally the same. So let's start out real easy. This is all going to be food words for this one. The first word is burger. And they don't really differentiate, to my knowledge, between cheeseburger and hamburger. They just say burger, burger. They also have hot dog, same thing. And pizza, also very easy. There's also pasta. Now, they use this the same as us, which is pasta means pasta in general. I noticed that if it's a dish that uses specifically macaroni noodles, they'll call it macarona. My mother-in-law makes a dish with macaroni noodles, tomato sauce, and ground beef, and they call that macarona. I know in America, if I hear macaroni, I'll think macaroni and cheese, but then they also use sandwich. This word, they do use this word snack, but they don't use it exactly the same as we do. Where I come from, a snack is sort of an in-between, like small meal, like a small, snack. It's like just a little bite to eat in between meals. But the way they use it is more like, and the way my husband described it is like it's something you would order off a menu for the restaurant, or it's like a fast food meal. Not really like a home cooked meal, but something you would go out to eat would be a snack. We also share a lot of names for sauces. In Arabic, they even use the word sauce. They use ketchup. They use mayonnaise. And we share a lot of drink words too. They use latte, they use cappuccino, they use mocha. I guess is it Italian words, I believe? But we all use them. I also wanted to say about the word coffee. In English, the word coffee actually comes from the Arabic word kahwa, because coffee was invented by Yemen, if I am not mistaken. There's also soda. They use soda. They use cola. And they use Pepsi, or Bebsi, more like. And they sort of use cola and Pepsi kind of interchangeably. They also have their own brands, Matrix and Joy. Any like 7-Up style soda, they call 7. They use ice cream and they use cookies. When I said cookie singular to my husband, I kind of confused him. He knows it as a plural word, cookies. They also use cake and they use pancake. There's a dessert called kak, which is sort of cake-like, but it's its own thing. But they use cake the same way that we do. And they also use donut and they use mini donut. I would call a mini donut a donut hole. I'm not sure if that's a regional thing within America or if it's an American thing, but they call them mini donuts. They also use the words vanilla, and caramel. I know kind of across the US people pronounce caramel differently, but caramel in Arabic. And then they use they they say chocolate like chocolata. For cocoa they say cacao, and they use the word Oreo. This first one on the left is not exactly the same. They use salata for salad, and they use tuna for tuna. Now again, these are a little different, but they use manga for mango, and they use batata for potato. They also, I think the word fries is generally understood, but they call them patata. In Arabic, limon is lemon, and limon akhtar is green lemon, so lime. And then moving away from food words a little bit, they use freezer, they use microwave, They don't use the word stove, but they call it gas, meaning gas, which I think, you know, that's kind of, I think that's something that we would understand pretty easily. And then they use the word counter for countertop. They also use the words mug and cup. They say mug basically the same, and then cup is more like kub. They also use Tupperware. They say it like Tupperware, Tupperware. This one's kind of interesting. They call plastic wrap nylon, and nylon is a different English word. So what I found out is that plastic wrap or saran wrap used to be made from nylon, apparently. And so that's what they call it. And so any sort of flexible thin plastic is called nylon. There are more container words that we share. They use the words box, they use carton, more like cartuna, and packet. They do use the word plastic. It's pronounced basically the same, plastic. And this one maybe is not exactly food related, but I don't know where else I would ever put it in the future. Bacteria. They say the same way, bacteria. I put this word by itself because this is a word that actually comes from Arabic. The English word comes from Arabic. Sukar, sugar, comes from sukar in Arabic. And then there are a lot of words for Arabic dishes that we just call the same thing in English. Hummus, falafel, kebab, shawarma, tahini. I think those are words that generally most people recognize in English. And then there's some that maybe are not quite as well known to English speakers, but they're some of the most important first ones that I learned when I started learning Arabic. Zatar is very important to Palestinians. There's makluba. If I am not mistaken, I think makluba, the word makluba actually means upside down because of the way they, cook it in a big pot and then put a dish over it and flip it upside down onto the dish. I could be wrong about that one, I'm not sure. There's mansa, which is the national dish of Jordan. My husband loves mansa. And then there's kunafa. I remember when I first started learning Arabic and paying attention to Palestine, I thought kunafa looked so good and I wanted to try it so bad. And now I can't believe that I mean, I haven't had it for a little bit, but now it's kind of a regular part of my life. So that's all the food words I have for you guys. I'm hoping to make a series of more words. I think the next one might be technology words. I'm not sure yet. But thanks for watching. I hope you stick around and bear with me while I sort of figure out this YouTube thing. I'm really excited to sort of build a little community around me to help me focus on my Arabic learning. And I hope that other people find value in just sort of following along.